So Cory Barlog, the director of God of War, he had a recent interview with IGN talking about single player games and multiplayer games. If you didn't know, God of War sold 3.1 million copies in just 3 days alone. Almost every huge gaming news outlet has praised the game and given it a high score. Right now the game is sitting at a 94 on Metacritic. Now you can read the interview for yourself, however there is one part that I would like to talk about. He says that he feels that there is not a competition between multiplayer and single player games. He then got a bit philosophical as he compared their relationship to Schrodinger's cat. He says it's not about any of them being alive or dead, right? We are alive and we are dead at the same time, right? And we will always be that way. Now, I want to talk about this really quickly because I obviously love my single player games. It's pretty much all I really talk about on this channel is single player games, discussing them, theorizing about them, and I've done this a lot. However, what you guys don't know about me is that I love multiplayer games almost as much as I love single player games. You know, I love my Call of Duty games, the old one anyways. I love the Battlefield games. I love Fortnite. I love all these games, even though I don't really talk about them on the channel. Now, I don't talk about them on the channel because they're bad or they're not interesting. I don't talk about multiplayer games because it's just not my focus. I still love single player games and multiplayer games hand in hand, and it would be devastating to the gaming industry if all studios focused on one type of game. And I think Cory pretty much summed it up perfectly. There is no competition. One isn't better than the other. It's just player preference. Now, if I just want to play a game and just take my mind off of things and just listen to music as I'm playing, I'm gonna head to multiplayer. I'm gonna turn on Street Fighter, Call of Duty, Fortnite, all these other games, and just play. However, if I'm just looking for a narrative experience, something that I just want to dive right into, I'd either read a book or play a single player game like God of War, like the Uncharted series, like Last of Us, like Resident Evil. I do have my favorites, and I feel every time I go on Twitter and people are discussing this, and every time I go to almost any social media that involved gaming, people are saying, oh, Battlefront is a perfect example why multiplayer games shouldn't exist, or vice versa with single player games, how the player can only get a couple hours and they're pretty much done with it. It's all player preference. All of that doesn't matter. It's just what you want to play. This is all one big industry. As much as we would like to deny it, one cannot exist without the other. But that's my thoughts on Cory's statement about single player games and multiplayer games in the IGN interview. If you want to read this for yourself, there will be a link in the description. I'm going to be out of here. Thank you guys for listening. Deuces.